It is a really windy day today. I'm on my way out to our neighbor's spot to look at the high tunnel that we set up a little ways back. I thought I'd take folks for a walk out there, so I'm going to be going behind me to that 14 by 50 foot tunnel and chat about some ideas, some things I'd like to work on in the next few days as we get a little bit warmer. And so stick around if that seems like something you'd be interested in learning about. I'm going to ask for some input as well before we get underway, and I won't be this close to the camera for the rest of it. Much nicer in here than outside. My gosh, let me get this door propped closed. So many projects left to do. In fact, one of them being having a hitch for the inside of this door so that it can stay closed on windy days like this. But for now, I'll just leave it and hope it stays closed. Here we are in the 14 by 50 foot high tunnel. I'll link here to some past videos or a past video. If you're interested in knowing more about this, this is a farmer's friend Gothic tunnel. So far, we've been really happy with it. It's been here for a full growing season now. And in a previous video, I was talking about the idea of getting this area ready for spring starts. And I think I'm ready to go a little bit deeper into that. The concept that I wanted to explore for doing early spring starts is to do a low tunnel within a high tunnel. And you can see these hoops here. These are 1/2 inch EMT conduit pipes. I talked about bending these in another video in a really wonky but pretty inexpensive and straightforward way. So I'll link to that if you're interested in seeing. And so these are set in. I like the idea of them being permanent here. And I'm going to cut some greenhouse poly, some used scrap poly that goes over these, and figure out this central walkway being a hot composting pile that can radiate heat into these beds, and then also have the poly over it in such a way where it can capture the heat both into the soil but also in the air around them. We're certainly quite a ways off from being reliably into above freezing, but to see how cold it is outside, how windy, and then yet in here where there's water, it's certainly cold, but it isn't that frozen. I imagine that as we get into more and more mellow days, whoop, there goes that door again, that if we had poly over this with compost radiating heat in this larger high tunnel context, and I buttoned up the tops of these doors, we should be able to start some cold hardy seeds in here pretty much ASAP in the next few days. So the work will be around digging out the start of this composting system and setting it aside. We need to clean our coop out, so we're going to do all the deep litter, hay and manure from the chickens in here, mixed with wood chips and mixed with some screaming hot compost that's in the chicken yard. Basically all of this will be fueled by waste material from that space. And this is where I think it'd be fun to get some input from you folks. One thought that I had was to run a blue PEX circuit all the way down and all the way back in the middle of that compost and have that connect to the snow is falling off there. You can see there's an IBC tote on the outside to make a platform in this corner and have the PEX circuit running through the compost and into an IBC tank, a 300-gallon tank. So we've got the radiant heat coming off of there and warm water to work with. I could imagine this easily overheating in the mornings. Let's say we have a 40-degree day and it's sunny. In this, it could get very hot very quickly. Boy, I need a latch on that end. That'll be done before the next video. What does it look like to be able to take the excess heat in here? I wonder if there could be a little thermostat and a solar panel and a fan and maybe a buried tube that's somewhere at the high point in here, like mounted right up at the very peak of this, that's buried down in the earth, that can have the hot air drawn out of the space and either put back in a pathway or into the air of this space or into some mulch. Would love to get some input from folks. What do you have opinion-wise around both a PEX circuit to capture heat from a composting system in the walkway and some way of drawing off excess heat by day in this low tunnel context and storing it in the earth to radiate out overnight? I'm sure there's gonna be some really great ideas. In the short run, we'll probably go through and get everything rehydrated. I need to go out with a shovel and take snow and basically cover all this to get everything rehydrated. The pond is still frozen, so we do not have liquid water just yet. But we're already getting some good regrowth. Clean up the spinach and we should be able to start eating from in here. Some things did not do as well. Some of the mustards got burnt back, but the kales are there. They'll come back up. The parsleys will come. So those are some sketches of ideas I'm going to be chipping away at over the next few days. I'll take some video shots as we go, but this is an invitation to get input from folks, either direct experience that you've had or things you want to see experimented on or things that you have tried that you know will or will not work. I'm all ears. And for now, I'm just going to get back to moving some material around, getting a little bit caught up with some weeding, and maybe get some snow on these beds to start hydrating them. We don't need them to be hot and germinating just yet. We'll top dress them with some seed starting mix and some good compost, and I'll look for some input from folks with some ideas and questions. I'll get that door addressed so that it's not so creaky next time, and hope you all are getting off to a nice start with getting seeds going or planting going if you're in a place where you can be doing that. I know I'm pushing it a little bit early here, but I'm always eager to get the ball rolling, and I feel like low tunnel in a high tunnel in our climate, we should be mimicking zone 7, zone 8 at that point, and that's good enough for me for a March 1st start for the cold hardy stuff. Anyway, I'll share some more updates as we go. I'm looking forward to reading your comments. Thanks for watching.